There we go.
All right.
We're here.
Cool.
We're live.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. What's up, y'all? I'm sure we don't really have anybody out there right away, but like we're going to pretend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But we're trying something new here today. Normally I'd say like, welcome to the EasyPeasy podcast, but that's not exactly what I had in mind. Like I was telling Jared ahead of time, this idea I had, I don't want to claim it as my own. I want it to be all of ours. So I'm just calling it the What the Fuck Forum, the WTTF, right? No, the WTFF, right?
Yep.
I fucked that up already. But like, yeah, it just seems like a fun idea. Like, let's get together and bullshit about how fucking weird everything is and like, what the fuck, you know?
Yep. Yep.
And that's about as simple. That's about as simple of as the idea was. But of course, me being me, I had to like overcomplicate the hell out of it. It's actually rather simple, but I wanted to put a lot of flowery bullshit language to it. So I want to read you guys something here, and I want to get your feedback and let me know what you think. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what I call the WTFF code, which is, in parentheses, a verbal, non-binding contract slash disclaimer or pledge of disallegiance. Okay. So as most group shows often dissolve into a clusterfuck of unintelligible crosstalk, we at the WTFF commit to using common sense and reasonable decorum throughout the following proceedings. We shall conduct ourselves with mutual respect and shall interrupt sparingly in hopes that no further rules be required. Amen.
Here.
Amen.
All right, that's part 1 of 4. Okay, I have 4. These are little prayers. These aren't rules, man. These are prayers.
I like it.
So, any participating member of this forum, as well as anyone, anywhere, is free to use, reproduce, redistribute, and sell for personal gain any of the non-trademarked materials following, as none of it shall be construed as intellectual property, especially considering the potential, if not probable, lack of intellect and or property of any significant quantity possessed by any member of the said participating members.
Hey, sorry.
I'm so glad. I'm like, this was so funny in my head.
Had to be read.
All right. So we got that. Amen. Do we get an amen?
Amen.
Amen.
Okay. All right. Hey, what's up, man?
Sorry. I was having some technical issues.
Oh, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. You came in at the right moment, perhaps. We're going through our non-binding agreement for this here forum. All right.
Okay.
But before
Read that last slide again.
I think I'll do the whole thing over again, but I want to give our new participating member a chance to introduce himself because basically, Wyatt, you're the only guy that's ever talked to this fella before. So
Yeah. He's a great guy. So
How dare
call
you?
to liberty. What's your deal, bro?
So I'm just like a dude who likes to learn about what I would consider to be the correct path going forward. Anarchist philosophy, the kind of things that put you on a list. I'm not so into the whole like gear and everything side of things like yet, but I don't shy away from it either. It's just a matter of where I sort of started. I am also poor, as our boy here.
We were just talking about that, man.
Yeah. It's tough out here for a working class people, I think. But yeah. So my deal is just I like to listen and I like to learn all these fucking dope concepts that I got introduced to right around the time the pandemic started. A little bit before that, like I followed Whiskey and Rebellion, if you remember that guy.
Yeah.
But pretty much 2020 was when it really set in my mind, like, there's no fucking way that these people still trust like the government. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, you saw all this stuff going on, and
What
you're
the
still
fuck,
like,
man?
yeah, like
Yeah.
what's wrong with you? Sorry, I don't know if you were swearing or whatnot.
Bro, it's
Fuck
called
yeah.
What the Fuck. It's called the What the Fuck forum.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So fuck yeah.
Trying to
We
be
say
polite.
fuck. Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool, man.
I don't know.
What do
Sorry,
you-
That's what I got.
What do you prefer to go by? Are you staying anonymous or
I did a thing where I tried, but it's not that important. My name's Liam.
Liam? Cool,
Mhm.
cool. You know, first names, I figured they've already got us, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mostly, it's mostly just a matter of I didn't want to have my like shit linked to my family or whatever, like
Sure,
cause them any
sure.
problems
Yeah,
down
fair.
the line. Because in
Work,
my
etc.
in my crazy like conspiracy theory mind, one day they're going to be like, oh, all of a sudden all this is illegal retroactively. If you've ever said anything like this, you're going down. They clearly
man.
already collude with social media, so
Yeah.
yeah.
You're hitting on a lot of topics I want to like talk about.
Sorry.
But we're not quite ready for that yet. It's cool though. It's cool though.
Sure.
Well, Liam, that's awesome, man. Welcome on.
Good to meet you.
For
Thank
the
you guys for
inaugural.
inviting me.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I just had a gut feeling. I'm like, this guy seems all right.
How dare you? Don't ever say so.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a radical in that I'm gonna assume you're not a Fed for now, and just like,
Yeah, I'm so fed. I've got my extra mattress because I finally bought a new bed. My fucking you see that Goku tank top back there for the gym?
yeah, that's too true. Like truth is stranger than fiction, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's legit. I can dig. So Liam, we were just getting down to, I don't know what you might call like our Articles of Confederation or some shit.
All right.
All right. So I wrote some shit and it's mostly nonsense, but
Sounds good.
bear with
Sounds
us. Okay. I'll start it back over for your benefit.
Thank you.
And because
Sorry.
and because I just think it's fucking hilarious. So
Yeah,
Okay,
I need a
all
good
right,
belly
all right.
laugh again.
all right. So the WTF code, a verbal non-binding contract / disclaimer / pledge of disallegiance or disobedience. I don't know. I debated, but either way works. So Article 1 or prayer 1. We're calling them prayers. Okay.
Mantra 1.
These are not rules. These are not laws. These are prayers. As most group shows often devolve into a clusterfuck of unintelligible crosstalk, we at the WTFF commit to use common sense and reasonable decorum throughout the following proceedings. We shall conduct ourselves with mutual respect and shall interrupt sparingly in hopes that no further rules be required. Amen.
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 Thank
to
you,
that.
Jared. All right. Prayer 2. Any participating member of this forum, as well as anyone, anywhere, is free to use, reproduce, redistribute, and sell for personal gain any of the non-trademarked materials following, as none of it shall be construed as intellectual property, especially considering the potential, if not probable, lack of intellect and or property of any significant quantity possessed by any of the said participating members. Amen.
Hear, hear.
Amen.
Love that.
If any participating member, this is prayer 3, or non-participating listener should find themselves offended by the following proceedings, they are entitled to nothing and will be asked kindly to go fuck themselves. Amen.
Amen on that one.
Excuse me. Number 4. The WTFF is a decentralized broadcast network with no governing body of any kind and is produced and distributed by a loosely affiliated, ever-growing network of rogue independent content creators. This forum does not, will not, and shall not have one location, RSS feed, platform, or channel, but shall be shared and multiplied as nature intends. Amen.
All right. Yeah. Hell
Amen.
yeah.
And that's all.
I like it.
So that was our, founding document. It's pretty fancy. It's written in chicken scratch.
I
All
love
right.
it. That
One
looks
sheet of
very
paper.
legit.
I'm gonna put a frame on it. And
There
that's
you go.
That's gonna live on.
I support that.
But yeah, like like I said, all I wanted to do here is like come together and talk about shit that makes us say what the fuck. All the rest of it is just flowery, silly language. But yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
welcome to it, everyone who's listening. All of our tuned in guests here. It looks like we do have one person commenting.
Yeah, I think it's this guy.
Yeah.
Very serious.
Is that
comment.
a bot?
Oh,
Is that a
It's
bot?
very
Hey, better than nothing.
We have 2 eyes on this.
One's a Twitch bot,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
other one's a Twitch mod.
Yep. Hey,
Yeah.
you know, it comes with the territory. We're all
Yeah.
we're all new. We're all new to the game, right? Like, I think we've all started putting out content just in the last like year and a half. Is that right?
Yeah, just over a year
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's fitting that none of the more experienced people could join us. This is a noob fest. It's a
Absolutely.
big old circle jerk of people with no listeners. So cheers.
right.
I don't got beer, I got
Oh, man.
coffee, but
Hey,
know.
it's all good, man. It's all good. But yeah, you know,
Got
like
Elmer.
like I
Oh, shit,
bro,
there you go.
you getting
It's a
fucked up
party
on
now.
you getting
Well-
fucked up on Elmer's glue?
yeah, you know our boys
yeah.
been sniffing that for sure.
I thought
Yeah.
that shit was all clean. Like that's non-toxic.
Oh,
You got to
what
get
they
that
want you to
rubber.
sniff.
You got to get the like PVC cement. That's what you really want.
Right.
That shit is
So,
strong.
yeah,
The
got to
purple shit.
string out like honey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is already devolving into a nonsensical blather. I love it. But no, like I said, I got a couple topics I thought I'd bring up if we needed, but I'm curious if anybody has anything urgent that in the last week or two has made you say what the fuck.
What the fuck moments in the last couple of weeks? Let's see.
There's
here.
been a lot. I mean, it could be the last couple weeks, could be the last 2 years. I don't give a
The
fuck
fucking
where to begin, you know.
the Corvette
Yeah, I was gonna
incident
say-
so far has been interesting to me.
Joe Biden's top secret Corvette.
The top secret Corvette. And then so today I was scrolling and I think the Insolent Libertarian like meme page shared it, and it was like, this is how top secret that Corvette was, and it's like a photo of Hunter Biden driving it, and he's got some chicks with him and shit. I was like, yeah, that's about right.
I saw one that was pretty funny where it's, you know, somebody staged it and it's like 3 Cadillacs are all backed up in like a circle, and it's a guy running around and Joe Biden's head is just superimposed on top of this body, and he's running around while someone else is unlocking all these trunks, and he can't close them all, like they keep popping open and shit. It's like, that's pretty good. That's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I don't give a fuck about those documents or Joe Biden or any of it, but it's farcical. It's funny on its surface, you know?
It's just
Yeah.
No such thing.
another IQ test to like, how did you respond to the one? Now, how do you
Mhm.
respond to this one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Did you pass or fail?
Yeah.
Right.
What-
but it's totally different when it's my guy, man. It's totally
Yeah.
different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's
you look
important to
back and
laugh.
it's like they were complaining about Trump. Like, oh, Trump has private documents in Mar-a-Lago, but it's like it's the same situation. It's just the opposite side. So
Yeah,
it's just funny to
exactly.
watch people bicker back and forth about literally the same thing, but
Mhm.
it's my guy, you know.
It's
Yeah.
fun not being on a team because you can just laugh twice as much.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. It's important to laugh. It's important to either way. You're like, why is there such thing as top secret documents? Do I not pay your fucking bills, dude?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
That's
Like,
absolutely right.
I saw somebody, I don't know if it was a quote or just somebody made it up, but it was like, you know, there's a reason it's private citizens, and I don't necessarily care for the word citizen, but whatever, we'll go with it for the argument's sake.
Right.
And public servant. Like, they're supposed to know nothing about us, and we're supposed to know everything about them, right? It's pretty
Mhm.
damn simple. And it kind of seems like it's been inverted, you know, like they
Yeah.
got a file on every goddamn one of us. And what do we get to know? Oh, you can learn about JFK. Just kidding. No, like maybe in another 50 fucking years. Like, no.
yeah.
Only the story they tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to protect their own.
Well, and I think that issue of documents is, I mean, it's just like a small window into a massive fucking, it shows just how much they have to keep secret, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
what's in the documents? How come nobody's even asking that question? Like, I haven't heard anything about what this shit's related to.
Right.
You know?
I was going to say
But-
we tend to keep the belief that national security is this whole big like empire like of power and like if you leak national secrets it's going to be this huge deal, but like motherfucker keeps his documents in a Corvette. It's not, it's not that. I think the illusion in our mind is like, oh yeah, this is like very important, but like in reality it's probably just the Pentagon or the Pentagon audit that they want, and they just that's where they put it. They're like, nobody will look here.
It's a big red pill learning that national security isn't security of the nation. It's like security of top brass national interests.
Mhm.
Pretty much, yeah. Actually, yeah, like corporate lobbyist interests.
Yep.
Well, I almost want to. I hate to put it this way, but give the benefit of the doubt in saying that I bet you it was just like an oversight, like on probably both. I don't know. Trump sounds like he had more documents, but like, I don't know. It's probably more of a statement on just general like ineptness and like the flurry of activity and the changeover of one administration to the next, and how just all of these supposedly top secret things. They're probably most of them insignificant as far as their actual content goes.
Right.
But it's like, well, if they are insignificant, why are they top secret? Like, do you just slap that label on fucking literally everything? Or
probably,
the whole thing, it opens up a whole conversation that I think is a good one of just, ineptness and fucking overclassification and our right to know exactly what the hell they're up to,
Over bureaucratification. Yeah, new word.
Yeah.
He's probably paying somebody to say, hey, this is classified information. You need to, store it as such and treat it as such.
Yeah, it just feels like kind of the same way that a lot of laws like highway patrol will enforce or just like clear tax grabs. Something like the classification system just feels like an easy way to smack the book over someone's head when you become pissed off with them. Like if the most inconsequential things are considered top secret and they're go across everybody's desk and it's just normal operating procedure, then when that one guy you're tired of, you can't find any other reason to kick his ass, that becomes the one.
Which is probably what they're doing to Biden, right? Like,
it's probably about time.
Why did his own aides like report this? Like this is self-sabotage is what it is.
He sniffed their kids too hard at the family function.
Maybe
now
so.
They want him out. They want him gone.
Seriously. Yeah.
They invited him over for Christmas and shit, and he just all that shampoo out of their hair. And...
Man, I don't know if there's like new videos coming out, but I saw one the other day I'd never seen before where he is so deep inside this like 7-year-old's scalp. It's disgusting, dude. It's like right up the spine. It gives me willies. Like it's total serial killer shit, man.
It's
And that's our president,
Yeah. It's kind of
how great is that?
for our so far as of yet unreleased episode, we were trying to read through like this guy Dr. John Money. He's like the guy who invented genders, basically
gender theory or whatever,
gender ideology.
Yeah. He invented them for sure, out of thin air. But I digress. It's reading his like biography essentially is. Well, no surprise, he's a fucking pedophile, basically. And it's really hard how graphic it gets. And you're like, what the fuck am I reading? Why would you do this?
When we release it, it's a groaner for sure. But it's just, these are the people who come out of these universities and they swear they're saving the world. In reality, they're just mentally deranged and hurting people. Not just second wave, but also directly hurting people. and it's
This
it's
reminds
very
me.
sad to see, and it makes me sick.
I've got a WTF if I can pull it up. I'm
Okay,
not logged
let's
into
see
Twitter
it.
on here, so I'll
Is
see
it
if I
a
can scroll to
is
it.
it a new topic, or is it, because I was just going to say one
It's adjacent.
one comment on like these scientists that have brought these ideas into the public domain. They're putting a statue up at my alma mater, Indiana University, for Dr. Alfred Kinsey of the Kinsey Institute, who is a psychotic, basically he's heralded as the guy that opened the discussion about sexuality in our country in like a academic sort of way. And in reality, he like did all these fucked up experiments about sexuality, like some of which involved children and like were horrifying if you look at the details. And they're putting up a goddamn statue to the guy like very, very soon. So
Jesus.
yeah. What
But
what the
nobody will
fuck?
question that.
What the fuck? Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. What you got for us, Jared?
I'm trying to find a link here.
Ooh.
I may have to scroll for a bit.
So, I mean, can you give us a teaser? You said it's adjacent to the topic at hand. I don't want to
Yeah.
leave people thinking about like pedophilic shit.
No dead air. No dead air.
So yeah, fair enough. All right, bad place for dead air. I'm gonna keep scrolling while I try and talk.
No, it's okay. Do what you can, man.
So I had seen this fella was making some sort of comment about gay couples shouldn't be allowed to adopt kids, and I don't care.
Yeah.
And if anybody can give a kid a better life, more power to them.
Right.
But somebody had referenced this study talking about how there were no issues. It was some sort of man, I'm trying to be particular with my words. Basically, somebody had referenced this study trying to claim the opposite, and in the abstract of the study, whoever had made the study had made clear that they did not consider acts of pedophilia to be homosexual, something to that nature, so that they basically didn't count any times that the parents were diddling the kids as any incidents of pedophilia.
What the fuck?
Fellas, is it gay to fuck children? I have no idea.
Apparently not.
Let's put it to a Twitter poll or something.
Well,
that's what Brad Palumbo was.
To be
trying
fair,
to claim.
if I was a gay person, if I was a gay man, I wouldn't want to be lumped in with that behavior. Don't call that gay. That's not me. That's not what I am.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think
that's a whole nother ballpark.
Yeah. I think it's also important to look at the statistic as a whole about the foster care system, or like the adoption, like adoptive care system, where, I mean, there's a lot of horrific shit that happens in there. And it's not just on the spectrum of, if you're gay or not. It's huge. And a lot of that, I believe, plays into like base level human trafficking in this country, because if you can kind of like pass it off and say like, hey, yeah, I'm a good household. I mean, I know some people that are fucked up from that system, and like I know some people that are not fucked up from the system. So I think it's kind of a roll of the dice, unfortunately.
Depends on which home you get put in, and
and who your caseworker is and everything.
Like, if you put people in a government-sanctioned system, who would have thought it would be pretty fucked up? And maybe they're not looking out for best interests. They're looking for, what can I do to get out of my 9-to-5 fastest? All right, well, this person came in, they want to adopt a kid. We'll get this paperwork done. I'm not saying that's how it goes all the time, but I am saying that definitely has to happen at some point, right? There's got to be somebody out there doing some bureaucratic bullshit. They just get tired of it, and some kid, his life gets ruined because of it,
Yeah. I was going to say, like earlier when you were talking about the over bureaucratization or whatever the fuck, it's not a word. We're just making it up. But y'all ever heard of the iron law of bureaucracy?
Yeah.
So
I don't think I'm familiar.
I think is this from Spirko, Jared? I'm pretty sure that's where I first heard it. Not that he made it up, but I heard it from somebody else. But it seems to
likely
jive.
that he's mentioned it.
He's probably talked about it. But the idea is that there's really only two types of people in any bureaucracy of a significant size, and that's first and foremost the people who are serving the mission of the bureaucracy, and then the second group is the one you kind of got to look at with some skepticism. They're the ones that serve the bureaucracy itself. And the iron law basically states that bureaucracies are self-defending organisms of a sort, that at a certain point, there's almost more of the second type than there is of the first, right? There's more administrators than there are actual caseworkers. If it's, a child welfare setup or something of that like. But that's why in the Catholic Church, you have these atrocities that go on for years and years. This bureaucracy is defending itself from bad press. So instead of dealing with the problem, they just shuffle these known offenders from church to church and try to cover it up. I'm curious, did any of you guys like in high school have that like notoriously creepy teacher that like would like flirt with the girls in your school? Because I did.
So
we had a couple,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a large school in, I guess I can say it. I went to one of the biggest schools in Wichita at one point, and our music teacher, he was a young guy, fresh out of college. And I think that's kind of a problem, is you get this young hormonal dude in a classroom full of 17, 18-year-old girls, and, or what have you. He did get arrested for having a relationship with a student that was, I think she was a sophomore, 15, 16-year-old girl. And it's insane because what do you do? Do you profile at that point, or how do you sift through these people to get them out and away from these kids? It's horrible.
I think homeschool your kid.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're still getting macked on by the teacher and you're homeschooled, you got different problems, man. Different problems.
Yeah, no shit. Holy fuck.
Problems.
Yeah, like the math teacher, he keeps grabbing my ass every time I go out to the gym, but it's kind of strange because
my garage.
Yeah,
when dad's the gym teacher, it's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Liam, you got the right kind of twisted fucking personality for this show. I'll tell you what.
All right, thanks, man.
Well,
it comes out a little more when I'm not talking to myself, I think.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, that's why, we two heads are better than one, and perhaps four. I don't know. Maybe there's diminishing returns eventually, but yeah.
Well, like you said, there's the iron law of the group podcast. Eventually there's going to be so many people here that are defending the idea of a group cast. They're not actually
we stop serving the listener.
Hence rule number 4. I mean, prayer number 4. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
This will never be a centralized thing. What I think would be so fucking cool is if what the fuck forums start up like all over and have no association with each other, but like, some people are like, dude, everybody's got a fucking podcast. There's too many goddamn podcasters. I say, fuck no, we need more. Like, because even if you mostly like serve a small niche kind of community, maybe a regional kind of thing, like there's nothing wrong with a podcast that has 50 listeners if those 50 actually fucking like the show and it's like something pertinent to them. So why not? Like, why not have 200,000 fucking podcasts in this goddamn country? And, why not have what the fuck forums and, a dozen different sort of like communities, right?
I'd take 50 listeners.
Yeah, dude. Sometimes,
you
it's, yeah.
You guys are going for 50. I'm going for 1.
Yeah. It's almost hard to even say, like, I think I might have like 40 or 50, but it's really hard to say. The analytics are not very good.
Your show
weird
pops
metrics.
up. It pops up on my Spotify when I look at like
really?
when I look at The North is Calling, for example, I'll see it under the title. So
Known associates.
yeah, known associates. Yeah,
Nice.
We're all guilty by association now, boys. Like we're in it together.
Oh, boy.
You know.
yeah.
I tend to go with the attitude of like it's better just to be, sunlight, best disinfectant. Like ideally by building an audience, you're actually protecting your ass, because if you ever disappear, like people will actually notice. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And like, what the fuck? Isn't it kind of fucked up that we're actually halfway thinking about that? Like,
well, they disappeared Jeffrey
bit.
Epstein on basically live TV.
right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna cross my fingers for any prayer of a recourse, but at least somebody will notice,
At least it's all we can hope.
Yeah.
Well, what do you say? I've got a topic in mind.
Okay, all right.
Speaking of like classifications, how about I'll put it this way. What the fuck, ATF? Like,
Yep, that was the one thing I had on my list.
I think
this.
I think this is the biggest fucking issue right now, man. Like, they just made millions of Americans criminals, like by default, unless you jump through XYZ hoop.
Lick the boot.
And even if you try to jump through the hoops, there's no fucking guarantee they're gonna approve you. And when they don't approve you, you're fucking a criminal.
Yeah,
like it's really pretty fucking outrageous.
You hand them a card with your address on it, and you tell them, "I have something that's illegal if you don't accept this." And then, of course, why would they? Because they don't have a reason to.
And boomer cons just fall right in.
There's a lot of speculation about it right now. It's completely free. Supposedly, your Form 1 is supposed to be completely free, or Form 4, whatever the fuck it is, and you don't have to pay the $200 tax stamp, right? So that's how they're reeling in a lot of these people to, you just have to register it. We're not going to make you pay anything. But there's a lot of I don't want to even call it conspiracy, because it's basically just black and white. You tell them you have this, and they have it on record. What is that if it's not a registry? And it's a shame, because a lot of guys are like, well, I'd rather be compliant if it's just free, and that's not really what it's about.
That's a bootlicker mentality. It is.
Yeah.
And for those that are listening and can't see, Jared has pulled up a picture of Admiral Akbar saying it's a trap. Because, like, obviously. So, like, what do you all, for real, like, what do you think's going to happen? Are they going to, like, I don't even want to fucking think about it, man, but are they going to knock down doors?
Same situation like what happened with the bump stocks, is they banned them for however long. Was it like 2 years or something like that?
Yeah,
and then,
until someone takes it to federal court.
Right, and they were like, this is illegal. You guys can't do this. And then they overturn it because they're like, technically we can't. But they do it anyway, and they do it all the time.
Yeah.
But
it's just the way the ATF moves.
They know. Right. Yeah. I think they know that it's not sustainable. I think they know it's going to get overturned. But I think it's just that one more jab in the side of the American that is, oh, well, I don't want to break the law.
Yeah.
But
it's a dying animal lashing out.
Yeah, exactly.
And you gotta wonder how many people are going to get hurt in the time it takes them to overturn that case. Like, how many doors are going to get knocked? How many fucking boomer fuds who use a brace because they can't properly shoot a gun otherwise? Like, they're not. I could almost understand bump stocks, because it's like, I mean, it's cool, but it's like bad because you shoot fast whenever.
Rate of fire, blah,
right?
Blah. Yeah.
But the pistol brace, like, it's literally nobody's out there slinging that into a high school or something and like catching bodies. Like, no, that's
right. It hasn't been high profile.
I've only ever seen veterans at the range in like a fucking wheelchair using those things. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
And you cannot find the files for them on the catalog on Odyssey to print your own.
Not at all.
Bully brace.
You can't.
Interesting.
Like, it's all been scrubbed, you mean?
No, it's just not there.
He's saying that you can't definitely go.
Oh, you
And
definitely
you
can't do
definitely
that. I see.
Yeah.
Understood.
not
You
do
can't
that.
make it in whatever color you like.
I understand now. Yeah,
because that would be hypothetically illegal.
yeah,
Technically.
yeah. Y'all are quicker than I am.
Yeah, I think another thing to keep in mind is that I think it's sort of like a training exercise for these guys. Like, hey, what can we do, and like how quickly can we, or like how far can we push this before we get pushed back? And the more people, obviously, that
what I
comply,
just
they're gonna
thought
be like,
about?
oh, this is simple.
Do you guys remember a couple months ago whenever they did that whole press run about hiring like a ton of ATF agents, and they were like, they were like the huge fat people and like wheelchair bound agents and stuff.
It was
I'm
IRS,
wondering
yeah.
if that has.
I was gonna say that
Was
was
it?
IRS.
Was it
Yeah.
IRS?
Yeah, that
But
was
it-
the
but
IRS.
it was
All the
IRS.
agencies,
They're all three-letter agencies. Can't tell the difference.
They were calling out to people willing to operate in a law enforcement capacity,
willing
who were
to-
willing to use lethal
lethal
force.
force,
Yeah, because there were the
Motherfuckers.
pictures of them like stacked up on a door with their like Charlie's Angels stance,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was comical to say the least.
My
but
favorite
I
was the
just
dude in the
wonder
wheelchair.
if that coincides.
I live up a flight of stairs, so I think it'd be really funny if I look outside and he's just like, "Hey,
Come down here.
You're surrounded.
No. You come up, asshole.
I
yeah,
got 6 months of food, motherfucker.
Yeah.
hunt the squirrels from the trees."
Just don't set my fucking house
Right.
on fire, please.
Yeah, don't
Oh,
let
geez.
those what do you call them? Whatever gas canisters accidentally incinerate my entire family and a bunch of other children and women accidentally.
Oh,
So
wow, taking it to
going
Texas.
back to the brace thing, right? Like, so this is just the latest thing, right? And it's unelected bureaucrats, making rules from on high, and kind of it seems to me to be in like a blatant intimidation tactic. But it goes back, beyond braces and shit. Like, since when? How long since they've started classifying things like SBRs and short barrel shotguns, and like, when did this fucking start? Because it's all fucking wrong. It's all
short
wrong,
barrel
right?
shotgun is what led to Ruby
think-
Ridge, so it's 30 years old at least.
At
I
least.
think it started really in the NFA, like the initial,
Which was
hey,
the 30s or
30s. Yeah, I think so.
Probably during Prohibition, because they were trying to stop automatic weapons because
Yeah,
the gangsters had more power than the government, right?
yeah, because the government created
heavily
a class
expanded
of
upon by
President
President
business.
Reagan. But
Yeah,
Fuck that guy.
So it just to me it all seems so fucking arbitrary. It's like, so what if my rifle has a barrel that's 16 inches, I'm good, but if it's 14, I'm fucked. Like,
You've
10
seen the
years in
pictures.
jail.
You've seen the pictures. The long barrel makes the deer explode. The shorter barrel makes the deer explode. The long barrel just knocks it over.
Yeah.
Oh.
I see.
I was confused, so thank you for that. Really, what I've been thinking.
what did the commander in chief say? It says 9mm will blow your lungs out of your body. This is news to me.
Yeah. It'll take your head clean off, man.
So in
Write
Canada,
it down,
I'm
Jack.
sure you remember this fairly recently, when Canada was saying they were going to ban hunting rifles, the native people stepped forward, the First Nations people, and they were like, "Hey, what the fuck? We hunt all the time." Do you remember? Did you guys see anything about that?
I'm not sure I did. No.
Okay. So they basically claimed that was a discriminatory action because the fact that the majority of people that hunt in Canada are First Nations people, which makes sense. So in this country, I think it would be really cool if the ADA, the
Americans with disabilities.
Yeah. Americans with disabilities, if they said, "Hey, this is literally discriminatory," and they sued the ATF for that shit, because it is literally discriminatory. It's not an extension that exists for accessorization. It's something that helps people with disabilities, engage in their hobby. So I think that would be a really cool step going forward. But America is pussified, and I don't think there's any way they actually end up doing it. But I just thought sort of the same spirit that carried the First Nation people to be like, hey, what the fuck, Canada, would be cool in America. But I don't know about all that.
I think we saw some of that attitude. I don't know how much you guys watched. I saw quite a few clips from the shot convention or whatever it's called.
Shot show.
Shot show.
The big, trade show. And the ATF had a fucking booth and people were just brutally just trolling those motherfuckers all day. It looked like just walking by, calling them fucking nerds and shit. Like, like, I hope your wife's having fun getting fucked by your partner and shit. Like, brutal, just absolutely brutal. Yeah.
You cannot find any pistol braces.
You know what's funny?
You cannot.
If you try to send a link to the catalog, like on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, it won't let you send that message. It says like this content is not allowed. I don't know if you've tried it. It's kind of funny.
There's not. Yeah, you even Control Pew. You got to put space DOT space COM.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you a link here, Jared. In a second. Sorry, go on.
It just seems like it's kind of bullshit that they can sort of preemptively read your message if it's something they don't like. Yeah, or I assume it's a robot, but yeah.
Yeah. The FBI's put a ban list on the different websites. It makes you wonder what all these different social medias are up to, that they are this complicit with the government. It's like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours situation. If like, you wouldn't just bend over for these people if they didn't have some shit on you as well.
Probably the oodles of like child pornography and shit that gets shared on their website, which they would technically
think about that. Yeah,
I would say they would technically be complicit in.
All these agents have their own accounts and everything, so they know everything personally about anybody who has a Facebook account, Instagram, whatever. So I assume they have copious amounts of dirt on every political official.
I feel like if I was rich enough, like I don't know, Joseph Biden level, Nancy Pelosi level rich, let's be real, I would not be using Facebook, because like it's clear at this point they will share your data in a way that you don't want. I feel like if you're in the know, why would you still be using this platform?
I'm Jared level and I won't use it.
Well, and I mean, then we saw the Apple iCloud leak of like all that Hunter Biden shit, which, to be fair, was pretty baller. He was like coked out and like guns and shit. But I don't see why you would trust any of that. Like, it's clearly not. It's all prone to failure at some point. So
yeah,
it's weird to me how they get exposed for shit, and it's like, why are you still using this platform? You literally helped the FBI catch other people with this.
That's why I'm off Apple too, or at least iPhone.
Yeah, I'm just poor. I never had one, so
they're terrible.
Dude, I'm still Apple all day, and I feel like I feel like kind of a cuck for being an Apple
we got
user.
The Fed, boys. He can afford iPhones in this economy.
He said he wouldn't believe anybody else was a Fed because he's the Fed.
Right. Well, if I was, man, I'd be pretty deep cover by now. Fuck, I've been living in this garage too long.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that a wooden stovepipe behind you there?
Yeah, I got a fire ripping in there right now. It's a little chilly here. Yeah,
deep level Fed shit. You're out there living life like sort of independent of the energy grid and shit.
I call it living under the radar.
Yeah,
like I used to live off grid for a bit, just like on this farm that I worked for, and fully disconnected from all utilities. I can't claim that right now, but let's just say that I'm being less than compliant with certain codes and whatever, because it's fucking
hypothetically
cheap. Because it's so cheap, bro. I'm living so cheap here. It's just it's state jujitsu. It's state jujitsu. It's flying under the radar.
I grew up in a bit of a hippie village, and there's this guy in the mountains that I know. Like, he just kind of walked up into the hills back in like the 60s and 70s, and he built his house up there.
Mhm.
Well, back in the day when the left was actually the political revolutionists or whatever, he was out there. He fucking hooked his shit up to the power poles without telling them, obviously.
No
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
For like 30 years, he didn't pay for power.
That's
And I
badass.
consider that's even better than going off grid solar. That's like you're fucking actively fighting the system by.
Yeah, but you're still
damn.
dependent. You're still dependent on that energy flow. Ideally, you want to be as independent as possible, right? Like just for your own self-preservation, right? If the grid goes down, you don't even want to notice. You just want to keep on
you
going.
gotta have backups on backups.
Right.
So back when he first did that was a time before. I mean, cable TV was not really a thing where I come from, anyways. There was obviously no internet, so I mean, he had power for his lights and shit, but homeboy also has like 3 wood stoves. It's a pretty big house. Like he was living essentially off grid with the added benefit of sometimes I can flick the switch and my lights come on, which I thought was pretty dope.
Yeah,
That's dumb.
People used to steal cable like all the time.
Yeah.
It was like everybody did it. It's one of those things. It was like prohibition. Like everybody still drank. With this pistol brace thing. My hope is that just everybody says fuck you. Like just no, I'm not gonna do it. Like suck a dick. But then you're sitting there like wondering, am I gonna get fucking? Is the gulag? Am I heading to the gulag? Is the KGB coming? Like, it's kind of scary.
I sometimes wonder if we kind of suffer from our own. I'll say it like the echo chamber thing, because I don't think like my father, he's a gun guy, kind of like me, and I don't think he has any idea about this ruling, because he doesn't watch TV. He doesn't use Facebook anymore. He did. I don't know if any of you guys followed him before, but I don't think he has any way of knowing that the law changed. So I almost wonder how much of the press we're doing for them. Not us personally, but like the circle on the gram and stuff.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that too, because I'm pretty sure for that to be a valid rule, they have to send you a notice like, hey, you own one of these. Here's like some federal mail or whatever, which could take like up to like a month to get. I think there's a little bit of at least gray area there, because they can't just say, oh, you probably saw it on Facebook, we're coming to kick your door down. No fucking shot that works in court.
I'm sure they just hide behind ignorance of the laws, no defense.
Yeah,
whatever.
Right,
fuck.
and that's such a bullshit thing, especially like Liam was saying earlier, like retroactively going after people who were compliant at one point and now suddenly are
like
not.
Went out of their way to comply.
Right, that's some Chinese bullshit in my opinion. Like not like that sounds like something that their government would do. They would go after somebody for change. That sounded bad the way I said that, but honestly, like it feels like something that their government would do. They would go after somebody for doing something years ago that was perfectly legal, and now they're a criminal. I mean, that
USSR
should
shit.
never be allowed. Yeah, it's fucking, it's ridiculous.
100%. Mike, you said you were trying to send me something, but I'm checking all channels and not seeing nothing.
Yeah. I got you. I was looking for this specific video of one guy that was just really funny walking past the ATF booth, but I couldn't find it. But I've got something else, and it's kind of for some reason it won't let me comment on like the main thing. I don't know what that's about, but I'll send it in the private chat.
Okay.
So we kind of mentioned this, I think, before we actually went live, but I want to talk about Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, science man.
Science man. Jared, I know you listened to it, man, but I just did this whole episode, and it was basically inspired by this here interview where Neil deGrasse Tyson is being a fucking just a real cunty little bitch.
I think that Wyatt has sent me this before. I'm pretty sure you sent it to me, and you were like, I can't believe people trust this guy to be the science mogul or whatever. Not exactly like that. I think it was you. It might have been one of my other buddies, but
well, I think almost similarly, before we play it, I'll just say this one thing.
Yeah.
Almost similarly to like the ATF thing. It's like they are changing the words, changing the definitions. They say whatever the fuck they want, and we're just expected to go along with it, like stupidly. And I think fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's so he lacks all self-awareness to the point where it's just like he doesn't realize how fucking insulting his words are. So let's hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Let me know if you can hear it.
Negative.
Shit. All right. Please hold.
Well, while you figure that out, I do remember there was a video of him saying some shit like, by 2035, we will have made it to space and we will asteroid mine or some shit like that. Or like, we'll be living on Mars. And it's like all this weird, totally improbable. Like by 2035, if we haven't nuked each other, it's a good day. Like, what are you talking about? Living on Mars? We can barely live on Earth, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they'll just fake it like the moon landing.
Yeah. We'll just film a little like Martian colony.
The idealization of like these like TV scientists, you know, it really is a problem because people start to like someone. It's like Neil deGrasse Tyson, maybe not so much as Bill Nye. They get marketed to young people, you know, and then it kind of shapes them to, you know, I love this guy. You know, I can trust him. And then he says some ridiculous bullshit and throws a hissy fit whenever somebody goes against the narrative, you know, and it's a real shame to see.
Right, hissy fit's the right word. I like that.
Take two.
All right, let's see.
It's a really fascinating clip. Patrick Bet David, who is a finance guy and has a really fantastic podcast, he had Neil deGrasse Tyson on. And Neil deGrasse Tyson is, I guess, what we would call a science communicator. He goes on Bill Maher all the time. He's a sort of darling of the mainstream media to explain.
Can we pause real quick, Jared?
Sort of in the Bill Nye the Science Guy mold.
I'm just curious. Do you guys know, does Neil deGrasse Tyson have a doctorate of any kind, or?
I think he's technically a PhD. I'll even Google it real quick. I think
I'm just thinking about, you brought up Bill Nye, and like these guys. Yeah, who put him in charge? That's what I want to know. Like, who put the camera in front of him?
Really.
Sorry, I threw off your whole thing.
I think they just suck a lot of dick.
So, like, he did some postdoctoral work. I don't know that he actually got a doctorate though.
He just has that kind of Morgan Freeman voice, and he blows the right people.
Well, it's like, you know, this is, what's this fucker's name? I've seen him before.
On top
introduces, yeah,
Dave Rubin,
right? So he says science communicator. Like, I don't know if he's probably trying to, like,
definitely a dig.
It's a dig. Because Neil probably is a doctor, I would guess. But anyways, I just found that interesting, the science communicator comment. It's like, yeah, he's definitely digging in. Yeah, it's good.
That's pretty good. It's subtle.
He fucking deserves it. Fuck that asshole. All right, should we play on?
Neil deGrasse Tyson on. And Neil deGrasse Tyson is, I guess, what we would call a science communicator. He goes on Bill Maher all the time. He's a sort of darling of the mainstream media to explain science to people, sort of in the Bill Nye the Science Guy mold. And he talks about physics and astronomy and a whole bunch more. He's sort of a modern day Carl Sagan kind of thing. And he went on Patrick's podcast and they started talking about vaccines and efficacy and personal responsibility. And it's a really, really great moment here. The clip's about a minute long.
Oh, your own body. If you want to get an abortion, get an abortion. If I want to get the vaccine, I get to choose. So you can't force. If I can't force you to get an abortion, you shouldn't be able to force me to get
Because it's not about you. It's about people you interact with. And that's the social contract of public
But we
health.
don't even know if the vaccine works or not at the time.
Yes, that's what the trials are, dude. That's why these trials. Are you missing data out there?
But let me ask you a question. Are we saying only one type of scientists are right?
No, we're saying that the system in place,
The 16,000 that signed that.
the
rich.
system in place to test vaccines. There's an entire system that's in place. That
Jesus Christ.
The
system
system's
in place is the system that's in place.
Trust the
that's
system.
all you
Trust the
need.
system.
What do
Trust
you-
the system. Fuck.
What are you missing data? Are you retarded? Like, dude, like it's so insulting, man. It's so insulting. I wish what's his name would have gotten up, walked over, and punched him in the nose. For real. Fuck you, asshole.
We need a Neil deGrasse Tyson soy jack with the yeah. Trust the data.
I like
trust the
how
data.
he chucked in the social contract term. I love that. I love when people use that. Like you signed your life away with your social security number as an infant.
That was part of this, like a different, not this clip, but a part of the same interview. He's like, that's part of the social contract that you signed. Wait, implicitly.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Like a huge pause. I was listening on double speed and it was an uncomfortable pause.
Because he heard his own words and he realized, wait, no, that's not quite right.
Yeah, that doesn't vibe right when you're talking to somebody who's not a fucking like an NPC. They're like, hey, I didn't sign shit, chief. My favorite thing about
Spooner
that whole fucking interview there is that he's talking about the system in place as if it's not just the FDA. And they're known for their honesty. I mean, has anybody here suffered from the PFOA cancer that just, enveloped like tens of thousands of people in the country?
Yeah. One in 3 people will experience cancer at some point. And you want to talk about the FDA as if they're this like all-knowing, trusted source of information. Hell no.
If they're so solid, then why can't I sue them when they fuck up?
Well, and where are they getting their money? They're directly funded from the pharmaceutical companies.
Absolutely.
And there's a part of this interview where Tyson goes, there were trials. There were trials. That's what the trials were for. He like totally spazzes out. He's pretty like unhinged in this footage.
Seeing him like usually so cool and collected reading a script.
Yeah.
This was a whole different view.
Can I ask him who the trials were on? Because I'm pretty sure that it was just by dose 1 of the vaccine, everybody became a trial. They didn't bother to read into the data. They just were like,
there were trials, right? And the data from the trials is like not even that good, even though it's super fucking cherry picked. I don't know how much you've like looked into this or whatever.
I do. I kind of remember this back in when
they disqualified everybody who had a reaction to the first dose from the trial data. They basically pretended like this whole group that were in fact like harmed were basically disregarded as outliers as opposed to valuable fucking important fucking data points. They acted like they didn't exist and they were not allowed to continue the trial to receive the next dose. So the trials were fucking flawed. Like fuck you, Neil.
It was in their contract to have follow-up for like 3 years.
Which is not
stories of people that were just dropped.
Yep.
With serious issues that nobody will answer their call.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are South Park connoisseurs, but if you remember their coronavirus episode, or I said the word, I don't know if that'll get flagged.
Man, yeah, I didn't even think about like YouTube, and I'm not used to worrying about getting blocked.
I'm not worried about it.
Okay,
I got 10 followers on this fucking channel.
They got
I'm gonna compromise my shit for 10 followers. Shoot me now.
The cops go in to replace the teachers because the teachers are all out sick. So the cops go in and they shoot a kid and they say, oh, he died of COVID complications. And they're like, what, you shot him? Like, yeah, but we were here because of COVID.
Yeah. Oh man, that's savage. That's savage. I love it.
Gotta love it. I know somebody, his mom had stage 4 cancer before COVID was a thing, by the way. I know it's going to flag or whatever, but I said the word. But before the whole virus, his mom had stage 4. Hey, you have 6 months to live or whatever, 3 to 6 months or something like that. He's like, so I come back from my mom, or I go to New York for my mom's funeral, and they listed her death as COVID related. He's like, she had cancer, like for the last 4 months or whatever. She died from cancer. And they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, well, it's like, but
Just
it was
another
this. It
statistic.
was the straw. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. Like she might have lived another 2 months.
Yeah, she might have had another week left in her, but that
It's like, bro,
pesky
it's
damn
like
virus.
a stiff wind would have killed her at this point. Like, fuck you, you
No
know.
kidding.
It's there's tons of stories like that, man.
To be fair, she was probably more likely to be killed by Cuomo putting a bunch of sick people into the elderly care facility.
Oh God, don't start. Oh,
What the fuck, right?
They thought we forgot,
What?
but we didn't.
I'm gonna try not to overdo the what the fuck thing, but it's so. I think it works, man.
It's apt. I think
It
I like it.
does.
I really do. You can be
Yeah.
the Klaus Schwab of the what the fuck forum.
Well, let's not go there, bro. That's again prayer number 4. I am not in charge of this fucker. Okay. This is decentralized as fuck. There's no chairman. There is no supreme ruler. Fuck
Whoa.
off.
Are
Yeah.
you saying that there's such a thing as like a chairman of the WEF? That sounds like a conspiracy theory, bro. Come
Dude,
on, man.
How bizarre. I haven't watched a lot, but I've seen some clips from the WEF where like, did you see the one where there was like this weird singer and like a violinist, and it was just the most bizarre shit ever? Let's see
I
if we
saw
can
there
find
was
it.
a clip on Twitter, but I don't ever listen to any videos on social media.
Yeah.
Let's see if it pops up. I was
The only
trying
thing-
to find shit on YouTube, but nothing was coming up, so I'm using Odyssey now. But
Go figure.
even still,
The only thing I remember seeing from that was Klaus Schwab saying that the Chinese economy has a really good model that should be examined or whatever because it has a lot of pros. And I was like, all the slave labor sure makes things cheap, but that doesn't mean it's good.
yeah.
it's a shame.
All right, I'm gonna send you another thing here,
Yeah.
Jared. It's gonna take me a minute, but it's a total spoof. It's like not real at all, but it cracked my ass up. This stand-up comedian, he like green screens himself into the WEF, and he's like doing comedy, but it's just bombing because he's like, oh, it's so good. Hang on. But yeah, what's up with the WEF, y'all? Like, that shit is whack.
It's it's everything that any crazy uncle conspiracy theorist that everybody was talking about at Thanksgiving ever said it would be. It's right there in front of people's eyes, and denying what your eyes see is really just like what do I want to say, like a sign of the times, I guess. Not to get all spooky and spiritual or whatever, but it's just it's silly to see so many people openly ignoring the fact that these people are saying outright, eat bugs, live in your pod, stay home, own nothing. I mean, it's all the parroted arguments we've all heard before, but it's hysterical and scary, to be honest.
Well, the thing you said earlier about like we suffer sometimes from being caught in our own echo chamber, but it is obvious that some people are just super unaware, like, which is hard to imagine for us because how could you not notice what's right in front of you? But even like I was listening to No Agenda earlier, and they were talking about how like a lot of people aren't even aware of the censorship that was applied, which is like one of our biggest like grievances, if you will, like the number of people cut from Twitter, YouTube, fill in the blank. But even that was never reported on mainstream media. So your average, boomer that's not on Twitter has no clue that like thousands of content creators, independent, journalists were silenced. And you almost have to just like have pity on the people that have no fucking clue how hard they've been punched in the face, like
Sure.
they didn't even notice it happened.
It's almost envy for me, like
Yeah.
not that I hate that I know, but I hate that I am the only one who knows in my circle of people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
I
get that.
think being stuck in our echo chamber is at least a little more conducive because it's full of self-aware irony and memes and sarcasm and a little bit of doomerism thrown in there. But like we're aware, like, hey, things are fucked at least, and like you can go over there and learn what they're saying and take it back to this place, make fun of it a lot. It's true, and it's still likely going to affect you psychologically. Like, oh, these people want to take your house away and your guns and all your shit, and they want you to eat the bugs. But like, it's kind of funny to laugh about it, you know. But whereas if you go to other circles and you laugh about things like, you know, like the fucking Corvette incident or whatever, they're like, you shouldn't, you know, make fun of this. Is a very serious, you know, fucking whatever.
Yeah.
That's our president.
Yeah.
Well, that was a
And he's a
perfect introduction to this clip because talking about like making jokes to the wrong crowd. That's what this whole video is about.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
great. It's great.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Danny Polishchuk.
Can you turn it up at all?
For this evening's Crystal Awards here at the World Economic Forum in Davos.
It's a little quiet, but
Just a second. Transmitting sound is weird when I have to do the desktop thing because it's a back channel. This clip is hella quiet. Let's see about this. It's gonna be really loud in my ears too.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Davos, Switzerland. Big round of applause for everybody who came out here tonight. All
That's as
right,
loud as I
round
can
of
make it.
applause, everybody. I will say
right.
you folks over here in Davos really know how to treat people. I was just backstage before I came out here, and the spread was incredible. I've never eaten so many different kinds of bugs in my life. Nah, just kidding. I know you guys aren't the ones who are actually eating the bugs. It's just the poor people. Speaking of poor people, where's Elon Musk at? Elon, is he here? Oh, I guess he couldn't make it today because he's too busy losing money. A lot of familiar faces in the crowd tonight. A lot of familiar faces in the crowd. Familiar, of course, to Jeffrey Epstein's pilot. I see you. Yeah, a few of you have been to Epstein's Island. Don't be bashful. Pretty much everyone here tonight flew in on a private jet, as per usual. I will say, everybody in this room probably released more gas than Klaus Schwab's stinky ass. Klaus, I see you over there, Klaus. Also, we got our man of the hour tonight, Idris Elba. Everybody, big round of applause for Idris Elba. Idris Elba, yeah, I guess because you couldn't get to be James Bond in the movies, I figured you just come and hang out with some real-life supervillains. I'm not sure if Idris Elba is getting paid to be here tonight, or if your payment is Klaus Schwab just letting you see your family ever again. Speaking of Klaus Schwab, everybody round of applause for Klaus Schwab. Without that man, there would be no World Economic Forum. Klaus, where's your fancy getup? That crazy leather suit. Where'd you get that thing, by the way? Villains are us? Klaus has famously said that people will own nothing and be happy. Well, Klaus, I own nothing and I'm sad. Explain that. George Soros couldn't make it tonight, unfortunately. He had to cancel last minute because he's too busy destabilizing the West. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your World Economic Forum, and I've been Danny Polishchuk. And if nobody hears from me next week, it's because I've been killed.
Because I've been killed.
Every time it cuts to the deadpan, no sound, it's fucking
no
funnier,
laughing.
dude.
It's so much funnier, dude. It's so much funnier.
A lot of you are real familiar to Epstein's pilot. I see you.
That kind of reminds me of the Ricky Gervais bit at the Golden Globes or the Grammys or whatever the fuck that was. The Oscar. I don't know. I don't fucking watch celebrities, but that shit was funny.
Brutal comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good one. You know, it's too bad it was kind of quiet, but
that's all right.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
There we go. No, I'll blast your ears when I put it on the podcast feed.
Every fucking time that it cut to fucking just nothing, I just laughed even hard. Like it was so fucking good.
Right.
Like it's off a little bit the
Mm-hmm.
first time. You're like, oh, what the fuck? Because you're used to like the laugh track or whatever. But then after the second time, you're like, oh yeah. This is better.
Wrong crowd. That's the whole joke. Is he bombs because like he's too savage.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude.
I try to stay away from like the ad hominem stuff, but Klaus Schwab looks like a villain, doesn't he, dude? Like it just fits. Yeah. He hits every tick, you know.
If you're that rich,
some of the shit he says, man, you can't hardly even believe you hear it. You know, imagine the compliance. You know, it's like, are you fucking nuts? Like, yeah.
Crazy.
Total like fucking Dr. No vibes for sure. I don't know. Maybe it's a lack of self-awareness, or maybe, you know, somebody said, I heard recently, it's like when someone tells you exactly who they are, believe them, you know?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it said. Sorry, this is sort of tangentially related. I heard it said, and it kind of crossed a wire in my brain where I was like, "Oh, that's kind of fucked up, but true." Germany has essentially won World War II because everything aside from the other stuff that they wanted has come true. They're the powerhouse of the EU now. Like, this is exactly what you would have wanted if you were a hypothetical dictator leader of Germany in 1945 or whatever. And like every time I see Klaus Schwab, I just think like, you got a little bit of that in you.
Yeah,
that dude looks like someone's brother or cousin, or
he looks like my fucking left testicle, dude.
I gotta share one more thing here.
You can afford the hair transplant like Elon Musk. Why the fuck wouldn't you? Dude? You look twice as villainous
because then he would look halfway trustworthy, man. No, the bald thing works. It's a complete package.
It's straight up. I blame Austin Powers for it, but yeah, when you see bald people, you immediately just kind of mistrust them. Like, oh, this guy seems evil.
Yeah, Dr. Evil vibes, no doubt. What you got there, Jared? What you got?
Oh shit! Let me scroll back to it. Someone had just put in the replies to the video that he's not suicidal. The guy who made the
yeah.
I am feeling weird suddenly.
Yeah. Sudden heart attack. Yeah.
Got a letter from the Clintons.
I'll tell you what.
Oh boy.
I was gonna say we already hit like everything I wrote down minus one thing, and that's food. When's the last time y'all bought some eggs, man?
It's been years.
Today.
2 days ago, yeah.
Okay, I don't buy them either.
Today,
A client hooks me up, but I'm curious. I bet you everything's like expensive up in Alaska, you know, just to begin with, right?
So, it's interesting. Everything out where I live way out west in the middle of nowhere. I have to take a plane to get here, and it's honestly the eggs were the cheapest thing I bought today.
Yeah,
I bought a cart of 18, and it was $8. So that is more expensive than it was in Kansas, but not too terribly much more.
I saw somebody post a video like $14 at Walmart. I don't know where, but for 18.
That's wild. Yeah, I
darn near $1 each.
I bought a half gallon of milk from the local tribal store, and it was $12.
Holy shit!
For like 4 or 5 glasses of milk, basically.
Yeah,
oh
man.
My God.
Well, they got just virgin nurses milking those cows.
Better be virgin nurse milk.
Virgin nurse milk, yeah.
Literally, everything out here has to be planed in,
which is an oxy. I don't think you can get a virgin to produce milk, can you? I don't know.
If you're Christian, you can.
Is that right? Yeah. If you're God, you can.
Yeah, well, abstinence is only 99% effective for the rest of history because of him, you know?
Right.
I mean, actually, though, now that I asked the question, because somebody might actually be like, yo, actually, they can. I think a woman who has not had a baby can like be stimulated into lactating.
I believe so.
Just saying. I believe that can be done.
With enough estrogen,
I knew a dude in high
think
school.
you can.
I knew a dude in high school who could lactate. I did. I swear to God.
I'm glad you moved out of that fucking backwards ass state, man.
Yeah, like what are they feeding you in Kansas? What the fuck?
Let me just ask you one question. And that's
transgender
this.
Before it was cool.
How the fuck did he find out that he could do that?
Just had one of his homies start sucking.
You just saw it, all right? We
you're
were
not
in
kidding?
soccer together. He just started. And
No, I don't buy it. It's bullshit, man.
It was swear to God, it was very little, but it was something coming out of this guy's mouth.
Oh
my god, dude, it's fucked up.
It was
What the
fucking
fuck,
crazy.
bro?
It
What
was
the fuck?
crazy. I couldn't believe it.
That's
Not
followed him around.
intellectual, barely property.
Yeah, yeah. We're living true to exactly what I imagined, y'all. This is
Bless
great.
up.
This is
Yeah.
just what I wanted. It's a great
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Oh boy.
Back to what you were saying. Unfortunately, it sounds like Wyatt's eggs. I paid $7.50 for 18 here in a fucking, you know, a city pretty much.
Yeah.
Fuck,
But-
dude.
The thing is I think they might have ordered it months ago because you know
All right.
everything out here has to be
Oh.
crated onto a plane and then it has to be shipped. So I think they paid for it several months ago, and then they got it here, and the prices just kind of remained where they were. Whereas for you guys back in the state in the lower 48, it's like you know, where did all those chickens die? Washington or something like that. They
Kind of everywhere.
I heard something.
A lot of places.
I heard
yeah.
something like 5 million birds or whatever. But we've been talking to the tribal council about getting chicken, like laying hens here in the village, because
Nice.
I kind of want to introduce to these people. We actually got a grant from the school district. Every house in the village gets a hydroponic seed starter set, which is
Nice.
incredible, you know, and that's a step in the right direction for, you know, especially this local population up here who cannot eat greens 8 months out of the year, and that's
Yep.
an atrocity in my opinion. But it's a little different. Everything's more expensive, but I am very happy to have eggs today. I had an omelet this morning, and it was the first one in 6 weeks, so
Hell
it
yeah.
felt pretty good.
I was about to say, like, if you give me the address of your local store, I could send you priority mail eggs cheaper than $14.
Right? Yeah.
Damn, that's
Like I can mail it from
crazy.
South Carolina cheaper than $14.
That's fucking nuts.
Right.
man.
You just
Yeah.
have to hope that they
It's
handle
pretty-
the package well.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I
you're gonna
wouldn't-
get like a whole
Just overpack it.
Or send them your pickled quail's eggs, bro. Those things are fucking unreal. I was
They're
loving
fire. I
those.
ate almost a whole jar today.
Man, I ate them up. Yeah, there's not one left. Yeah, that's.
I still got 300 of them.
Well,
God damn.
Bring them to Indiana when you move here, bro.
Yeah, if they're still with me, they're yours.
Yeah,
I've never even tried a pickled quail's egg. I've eaten quail before. It's pretty good, but
It's a lot of work. You got to hard boil them, then you got to peel all these little fucking eggs. I did 500 of them, and then you got to pickle them after all that, and then they still got to be refrigerated.
yeah, that does sound like a
Oh,
It's a
really?
whole mess. Yeah, it's a whole lot of work. I sold 3 jars.
two of
At
them.
the end
Have
of
any
like
of you guys,
fucking 500 people.
Two of them to me.
You ever done like lime glassing for the eggs? To keep
No,
them,
I
like,
haven't
good?
yet.
I heard it keeps them good for like 2 years. I've never tried it, but I heard it's very effective rather
Yeah,
than
I
just
don't-
like pickling.
I don't try and hold on to eggs for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Good to know you could.
Yeah.
What was
I mean,
what was the sorry, what was the preservation technique you were saying?
It's called
Glassing?
lime glassing.
Hmm.
So it's like I think it's just water and like what is it, base lime or alkaline lime or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and you put
Yeah,
it
you
just mix it like 2 to 1 or something, and just toss your eggs in their hole.
Yep.
Weird.
Supposedly it's supposed to keep them good like way longer than actually like fermentation or whatever.
Yeah, because you can't like according to the canning society or whatever, like the proven methods, you can't actually can eggs, but you can do it like refrigerator pickles. So you can, they basically have the same shelf life refrigerated as unpickled eggs would. I'm sure there's some buffer because of the acidity of the brine, but basically safe procedure is to just treat them as if they were still eggs in shell and eat them within that time frame, which is, I mean, refrigerated is like 4 or 5 months.
Problem is you can't test them the same way you can
Chicken eggs.
with a whole egg with the shell. You know, doing the float test.
Yeah.
Right, but you'll be able, I mean, I'm sure you can smell it if an egg's gone bad. My God.
True.
But if it's in brine, I don't know, you might just be like, it smells like pickles,
It
bro.
was funky today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
true.
well,
It's
you
a
know
possibility.
what? It probably wouldn't kill you though. I mean, that's the thing. Like our guts are tougher than that if we're healthy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If
Well,
it's
if you-
botulism, that's serious shit.
Well, you're right.
You
Buncha
guys,
was serious. Yeah.
You guys ever seen that raw meat experiment guy on Instagram?
No.
I found him because of
He
Faceless.
Yeah, he eats raw meat. That's his diet. It's raw meat, raw veggies. But
Don't forget the raw eggs, the
literally,
slonkers.
he'll go in front of. He'll go to Whole Foods, buy his meat and his eggs and stuff, and then he'll sit at the table out front, drink these raw eggs, and just like chew up a chicken breast out of the package. And it's
chicken
crazy.
Oh.
It's fucking unhinged.
I couldn't do it, but he's not dead, and he's been doing it for like over a year.
I couldn't imagine doing it with someone else's meat.
His bio.
I might do it with my own meat.
His bio on Instagram literally says that, like, I think it says like botulism is a government conspiracy or something like that.
Oh my god,
it's fucking hilarious, actually.
Government conspiracy.
Yeah.
You know, I heard Jared. You got to get a couple ribs taken out to eat your own meat.
Not true, my man. You just have to have an exceptionally bendy spine.
Yeah.
That or a lot of determination.
Yeah, a lot of determination will make up for
but
it.
Like, I would eat raw. In fact, I have eaten like raw beef. What do they call it? I'm like tartar. I was thinking poutine, but that's the weird French fries.
Gravy fries.
and then I just started thinking about poontang. I'm like now I'm totally
I eat that raw.
Yeah, it's like raw seafood or something, man. Yeah, that's good shit. I'll eat seafood raw all day for real. Give me them oysters, bro. Fucking A, yeah.
Oh man.
If it smells like fish, if it smells like fish, it's a tasty dish. If it smells like cologne, leave it alone. Okay, a wise man once told me that.
Let me write that down real quick.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
That's an old that's an old construction worker saying. I'm pretty sure.
I heard one the other day that was. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, I saw this. It was kind of unhinged and boomery, but I thought it was funny. So I bought this old truck. So I'm in a group of people with old trucks because, you know, common problems and whatnot. And this guy goes, I never lend out my lady or my truck because one's old and one's young, but either of them are easy to throw a rod in. And I was like, God damn.
God damn. My dude. That's pretty good. Yeah. Well, what else? What else you got, boys? I'm running out. My list is done. We've been going for a bit, but if anybody's got more what the fucks, let's let them out. I think this is cathartic. I think this is a healthy practice of us to let the what the fucks out. Yeah.
I sense some pretty.
I think we pretty much get everything big. Yeah. I don't know. I think we've hit everything big that I've been thinking of lately. It's kind of hard. I'm not quite as connected as I was a month and a half ago. So
good for you, man.
I don't really have to suffer through a lot of that stuff.
I think that's great. Yeah.
Probably
just the important shit makes its way to you eventually, right?
Yeah. Well, I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, man, it kind of feels good being way out here because should something catastrophic happen back home or within 3,000 miles of home, probably wouldn't affect us for several weeks, because the people out here, they're all self-sufficient. We technically have infrastructure, but it's very minuscule, so it feels pretty good to be that far away from all the bullshit.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I saw. Every time it's Martin Luther King Day, like Martin Luther King Jr. Day, it's kind of a what the fuck because the FBI has that weird habit of posting like happy whatever to Martin Luther King. Like, this whole operation was your idea.
Yeah.
Kind of a fucking meme, bro. That's always kind of silly. Anytime a government
the ATF on National Dog Day.
Every time I see the ATF post, I don't look at the post itself necessarily, but I wait for Spike Cohen to comment underneath because it's always fucking golden every time. It's pretty good.
Was there more to the MLK thing? Because I thought I knew where you were heading with it.
Well,
potentially.
I mean,
the
statue. the big
old- yeah.
bronze cock. Yeah.
That's
I think that
crazy,
shit's so
dude. What the
fucking
hell is that?
funny. It's abstract, bro. It's
It's art,
abstract.
man. It's art, I guess.
Abstractly shaping.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and some of these beholders are cross-eyed or something. And
Man,
I would hate to see the woman that could behold that.
Oh, dude.
she
Well, I
must be
guess
a whole
that's where the
with
Chicago-
both hands, bro. Did you see the one angle where it's like two-handed? It's like, and it's huge, man. It's like a freaking, it's like a Subway sandwich times 4. You know, it's great.
knowing this generation of people, I mean, we're gonna get a TikTok of somebody trying. Don't you worry.
Oh my.
Somebody's
Oh,
getting split in
geez.
half.
Yeah,
You know, my main thought on the whole thing is one of two things happened. Okay, either the board that approved this thing saw only one angle and it looked fantastic, you know, 2 arms hugging, no questions asked, didn't see the rest of it, didn't see a 3D rendering, or they saw a rendering and there had to have been at least one, if not more, people who kind of thought quietly in their head, maybe that's kind of cockish, but I don't want to say so because we're gonna build this damn thing, you know. Like I wanna be Mr. Rah Rah MLK, so like no questions asked, like thumbs up.
Right.
You know, I did hear though that apparently the statue was chosen by like a vote, like a public vote. Like the citizens voted on it. So I'm like, what the
man?
fuck? I don't know, man.
I was gonna say, if you put it before a board and they tell the public, hey, these people are gonna vote on if we have a Martin Luther King statue or not, and if you're the guy who says fuck no, it looks like a dick, but you know that's why they're not gonna run with that. They're gonna say this guy hates, you know, Martin Luther King Jr. and all that.
And
But if they
obviously
put
all
it to a
black people
vote-
by extension.
You
Right.
know, you know, as one does. But putting it to a vote and still ending up with that monstrosity, how the fuck do you do that?
I don't know. But it's fucking hilarious, man. And like, and are they gonna keep it? Are they gonna keep it? Right? Like,
You can't back down now. You got to double down.
oh
You
yeah,
got
no,
to.
You got to put
yeah.
a big pussy right next to it.
Yeah.
We've got our black rights, you know, civil rights statue here, and this here's our feminism statue. It's very modern, postmodern art.
Yeah, this one's for I don't know who.
They're both magnetic for some reason. If you the right time of day, they, you know.
Intercourse.
Well, that's what I said.
And
I
he-
said they should just put the Chicago bean next to it. You know.
That's a good thought. That's a really good thought. You know, in terms of scale, I don't know how it works, but it's who cares, man? Perfect pairing if I ever heard of such a thing. Fucking hell.
But
Yeah,
it looks aggressively average size to me. You know, even a little too big next to the Chicago bean. If you
Right,
if you
right,
ask
yeah,
me,
yeah.
You know?
Did you hear what the
Four
Yeah.
did you hear what like the cousin of Scoretta, you know, Scoretta, is that right? How do you say her name? Coretta Scott King, that's what it is. The like distant cousin or whatever was interviewed by the New York Post. And this dude had some words, bro. He had some good words. He called it a masturbatory metal homage. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's poetry, man. Like, well done.
Yeah. What a
But-
world.
Exactly, man. So last question perhaps of the night. Maybe we should wrap it up here, but
Sure.
what do y'all think? Like, oh, I had it and now it's gone, like a fart in the wind.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I got it again. I got it. Is this a dark timeline? Is there a whole nother reality where everything's just fine and like none of this happened and you know the Twin Towers are still standing and shit? Like,
No, the Twin Towers had to go regardless. George Bush was
You
doing
think?
us a favor.
you think? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even want to get into what that means right now.
I'm just saying,
There's
it was
so much
kind of
to
a
unpack
star on the skyline.
Yeah. So clearly it's the darkest timeline. That's all I was just
Oh, yeah.
trying to drive home. Clearly, I don't know if y'all are Community fans, but if you are a Community fan, I'm this close to cutting out a little paper goatee and just committing to it. I'm evil Michael from now on.
Oh yeah.
There's there's a world out there where nobody designed a nuclear bomb or a fucking $2 billion fighter jet to waste all their money. There's a world out there where they're just like, well, credit score? No, I mean, fuck it, go build your house. That's why do you need anything else? Just return to monkey. Go ahead, guys.
No, I don't know. I feel like this is just the way it inevitably has to go for now. I've been big into the fourth turning for like a year now, and it just feels like the way things have to shake out when you get a society this big with this much power centralized to so few people. It's just gotta crescendo to a point where people start to wake up and just start tearing shit down.
Liam and I were actually talking about this in our unreleased episode. Essentially, we're suffering from our existence as primates with huge brains relative to our body size. I mean, it's just kind of inherent of population is the word we used. So it does feel kind of like this is just going to shake out how it always does, which is only the dead see the end of war, as negative and dark of a note that is to end on.
Well, I mean, I was about to say it's like human history has been one of chaos, building and destruction, like rebuild, tear it down, rebuild, tear it down, rebuild, tear it down.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, I kind of like pity the person that doesn't see it. And it took a little while, but I think we're at the point where, laugh through it. Fuck it. Like, here we go. Rock and roll.
Yeah. It can't sustain. It can't sustain. We win in the end.
Amen.
Just depends on how long down the line the end is. If you really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always. Just keep building freedom in your life.
I don't know, man. I'm starting to envy Wyatt up there in the Great White North, man.
It sounds appealing up there.
All 12 of the people that you live with up there, like.
Oh yeah.
I think y'all are gonna be better off than some.
When I do my next solo episode, I'll give you guys a shout, because there's a lot that I'd like to go into about the local community, but it's too much to try and cram in something with guests, So.
Well, okay, then one simple question: How do you do chickens when it's that fucking cold and dark? Like, got to have a lot of heat supplemented into the coop and shit, or?
There's definitely like breeds that are cold weather hardy, but like today it was -24, so there's not a lot of chickens
really
that
cold.
they can't really sustain in that. So there's some of the practices that people use around here. It's great, snow is a great insulator, and that's why like Eskimos and stuff stay in igloos, because it's very insulating. So it's just a matter of using what little sunlight we do have to produce heat for them, feeding them properly, and honestly, I think you just have to keep them with like an indoor, kind of coop home. I don't know what you would call it, but a lot of the places around here have like their house is built on top of a garage, and there's heat to all of them. So I think that's how we'll end up doing it as like a town project, is converting one of these garages into like a kind of come as you please chicken coop. But it's this town needs something for these people to like. I don't want to be like the gentrifying white guy that comes in here like, you guys need to get salad.
But here's your seed starting hydroponic kit. Like
right. Right. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy who's like, what the fuck's going on here? But they've obviously made it work for several hundred years. But I do want to see, work very closely with the school. That's actually where I am right now, and these kids need a exponential worldview, and I'd love to expose them to certain things that they otherwise might not have. So
that's cool. Open up to the possibilities.
I hope no children have been listening to our discussion.
It's Sunday.
They're in science
School's out
class. They're
today, so
like, what the fuck is this guy doing here?
Well,
Talking
next thing
about-
we know, it's going to be like, known, white supremacist, extremist, anti-government was streaming live from a public school facility in the Great White North of Alaska. And we got him. We got the motherfucker.
Ladies and gentlemen,
pinpointed.
we got him.
Yeah. If I see a black jet coming down the airstrip, I'll know to take off into the woods.
Yeah.
Into the bunker.
Go
No,
build
you're
yourself.
good. You're good.
Go build yourself that igloo. After all, yeah.
They're gonna
That's
just
right.
they're gonna mistakenly strike the nearest group of 15 children and their guardian caretakers. That's how drone strikes work, don't you know?
Oh man.
Yeah. It was supposed to be in the Middle East.
That was another WTF. I mean, I know we're at the end of it, but do you remember that shit? They were like, "Oh no, nothing went wrong with this missile strike." You're like 19 people
after
died.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, and you're like,
Yeah.
"What do you mean nothing went wrong?" Oh, we investigated it. Nothing wrong. It was exactly what was supposed to happen. Oh, bunch of children.
Self-investigations.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most Americans, it's hunky dory. Let's when's
Watch
Jeopardy?
Didn't happen.
When's
Yeah.
Jeopardy on? Yeah.
Watch the CNN. Watch the Fox. Ignore the news. That's fine.
It's a shame.
Well, boys, I'll try to wrap her up here. I appreciate you guys being willing to try out this new thing. I think it's great. Initially I threw out the idea of once a month, but that's not to say I'm not opposed to doing it, more or whatever, like kind of as I don't know, by popular demand, if there is such a thing.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to get some more people and kind of mix it up, get people with different backgrounds. A couple of the girls that I invited, they said they'll be game in the future. We got Testimona and the Agorist Attorney are both interested in coming on, which are really cool people. Skinwalker, I was hoping he would come on. That's Preston, and he's a good dude, as I think most of you guys know. But anyways, yeah, or somewhere thereabouts. I almost want to say Arkansas, but I'm not totally sure. But yeah, he's a Great Plains guy. And anywho, so
Send it
yeah,
around the horn.
Say again.
So you want to send it around the horn, let everyone know where to find it?
Yeah, plugs and all that shit. Yeah. Why don't you start, Jared?
Sure thing. I'm Jared. I do Revolution Solution podcast. Been running about a year now. I had a co-host for 11 months, and I haven't heard from him in a few months. So it seems to be a solo show at this point.
Interesting.
My big passion project is Limited Supply Designs. Little logo up above Mike. Design and produce T-shirts on secondhand found garments. Everything I do is done with my hands. So, little plug there. All my links are here if you're watching the video. If not, lsd.ittybitty.tips.
Right
You think
on.
this guy was the Fed and he called the SWAT in on his co-host?
Hey, man. It's a theory.
We got it's like a game of Among Us, but it's a podcast.
Oh boy.
That'd be terrifying. He'd be, I'd be shocked. I'll vouch. I think. I don't know. That is a little mysterious about your co-host, though. Hopefully he's
Kind of
okay.
strange, bro.
Yeah. All right, Liam, what you got for us?
Call to Liberty podcast. You can find me on Instagram at Call to Liberty podcast. I'm on Spotify and Anchor as the two that are like really easy and free to access. I was thinking about maybe doing YouTube at some point, but I kind of don't like their platform. So whatever. That's me. Call to Liberty podcast.
Sweet. Wyatt?
And this is Free and Poor from the North is Calling podcast. You can find me at Free and Poor on Instagram. And that's pretty much it right now, other than I started broadcasting my podcast to Audible, Spotify, Anchor, obviously, and I think it's on Amazon now as well. Or is that Audible too?
Sweet.
Audible
they're
is an
one and the
Amazon
same.
product. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's it, I guess.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
Hey, thanks for having me on,
And-
man.
Yeah, no sweat. Mike Whistler, Easy Peasy podcast. Mike the Polymath. If you haven't already, get yourself a copy of Hayduk 2029. Gotten some good reviews on that. So, yeah, all my stuff can be found at easypeasy.ittybitty.tips. And that's a little plug for Josh, the Renegade Butcher, who puts those together. And yeah, that's been What the Fuck. Thanks for joining the forum, y'all. Appreciate it.
Word.
Hey, it's good to see you again, Mike.